The Habs showed up and the Jets didn't. The Montreal Canadiens take out the Winnipeg Jets in 4 games. And I'm not going to lie, this has to hurt for Jets fans. This was a pretty embarrassing effort overall, especially in Game 4. The Montreal Canadiens dominated this series. The only player that showed up for the Jets, besides Logan Stanley in Game 4, that had any real impact was Connor Hellebuck. Even though Connor Hellebuck had a few rough games because his defense collapsed in front of him a pile of times, in Game 2 and in Game 4, he was absolutely solid. He wasn't bad in Game 1. He did have an overall not Connor Hellebuck-like Game 3, but Connor Hellebuck was solid in the series. He was doing everything he could to keep him in this game. The Habs heavily outshot the Jets last night. They doubled them in possession time. They had more rush chances. They had a better forecheck. They were causing more turnovers. The Montreal Canadiens, like Paul Maurice said himself in an interview today, or last night during the postgame, deserved to win this series. So I just have to say, I am super proud to be a Habs fan. Everything is rolling with this team right now. Everything you want to see going with this team is going. The defense is phenomenal. The top 4D are boxing out every team they play, Toronto and Winnipeg. They're boxing them out in their own zone. They're giving them nothing up the middle. Everything's coming off the boards. It's amazing to see. They're causing tons of turnovers. The young players are playing great. Once again, Cole Caulfield comes up big in overtime. Again, this guy's an overtime specialist. 3 overtimes in the playoffs so far. He's at a point on 2 of the game-winning goals in those overtimes. 4 assists for Cole Caulfield so far. Nick Suzuki is just on a roll. Another 2-point night for Nick Suzuki. He has over 5 goals in these playoffs. Jesperi Kotkaniemi has 4 goals. Corey Perry is blowing my mind. This guy does it every playoffs. I don't understand how anybody's surprised with Corey Perry's game. He's been phenomenal. Eric Staal is one of the leaders on the team in points after having a terrible season where he only had like 3 points in 20 games, a terrible regular season. Didn't even look like he was going to crack the lineup in the playoffs. But, of course, Ducharme and Bergevin and everybody who makes the decisions in Montreal decided to trust the vets. That's why Kotkaniemi didn't play in Game 1. Jake Evans got the shot over Kotkaniemi because he's a bit older, a bit more experienced, a bit more trusted. But we all seen how that worked with Jesperi Kotkaniemi drawing into the lineup and how Eric Staal is playing. But my point is, this team is meshing so well. They're playing with so much confidence. Watching Tyler Toffoli's post-game interview last night where he was talking about how he loved playing with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, that's what you want to see. This is just a team that is having fun. And let's not even talk about the pure dominance we have seen in the past 7 games. The Habs have played either with a lead or even if they gave up the lead, they've never trailed once in the past 7 games. If they're going on to an NHL record, they might even possibly break Chicago's record, which is like 470 minutes or something that he set back in the 90s. Montreal already has like well over 400 minutes with either having the lead or not trailing. And they've won 7 straight games. They've swept the Jets. They're going in to play either the Vegas Knights or the Colorado Avalanche. Preferably, I would rather see them play the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, they have Nathan MacKinnon. Yes, they have Mikko Rantanen. But overall, Colorado doesn't have a big, strong defense. They don't have a ton of depth. It kind of drops off after the second line. And especially with what Kadri's gone through in the playoffs, I don't expect him to come back 100%. He's probably going to be a bit rusty. He's going to need to find his feet. So I would like to see the Montreal Canadiens play the Colorado Avalanche. Now, obviously, Colorado would be favored in that series. They won the President's Trophy this year for a reason. They have possibly the best player in the league next to McDavid, if not the best player in the league, because when it comes to the playoffs, Nathan MacKinnon is hands down the best player in the league, in my opinion. Either him or Nikita Kucherov, but Nathan MacKinnon is just a beast that a lot of teams cannot handle in the playoffs. But with the way the Montreal Canadiens are playing, I think they can shut down that top line in Colorado. They can expose their smaller, younger, more offensive D in their own end. They can hem them in their own end a few times. And if Carey Price is solid and Colorado's goalie, who has struggled at times in the playoffs, obviously not so much this year, but at times has struggled in the playoffs, has been injury prone before. If they can get to Colorado's goalie, they can get up in that series. I really, really think the Montreal Canadiens have a good chance against the Colorado Avalanche. The Vegas Golden Knights, not so much. I do think they can beat Vegas, but Vegas has a ton of depth. They have bigger D. They have bigger forwards up front. Marc-Andre Fleury is having one hell of a year. But overall, I think the Montreal Canadiens can get the job done against either one of these teams. But preferably, if I had to pick, I would like to see them play the Colorado Avalanche. But anyways, guys, the Habs are going in to the Stanley Cup semifinal. After coming in as the 4th seed in the North Division, they scraped in by the skin of their teeth. Like, it's no secret, Calgary had more wins, but all those overtime losses, all those loser points, added up for the Montreal Canadiens. They got healthy right at the end of the season, right at the perfect time. The whole team basically came back together. They had a bit of time to set up a game plan. Yes, it was a rough first 4 games in Toronto, even though the epic Game 1 Paul Byron goal was awesome. It was a rough first 4 games in Toronto, but once this team got their feet going, once this team got their legs going, got their young players adjusted to the system, got this defensive system where they're constantly keeping everything to the side going, Carey Price got red hot. It was just all uphill from there. 7 straight wins. The Montreal Canadiens surprisingly, shockingly absolutely dominate and sweep the Winnipeg Jets. I'm 32 years old. I've been watching hockey since I was 4 years old. So that's 28 years I've watched hockey. And I can honestly say I have never seen a team dominate a team the way the Montreal Canadiens dominated the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. Winnipeg, their high scoring chances had to be one of the lowest in the first round ever. They did not have a ton of high percentage scoring chances, I should say. They didn't get much off the rush. Pretty much the goals they did get were either like the Logan Stanley goals last night. They were kind of weak, but I'm going to consider them kind of fluky because you're not going to beat Carey Price like that all the time. I don't know if Price was having an off night or not. And their other goals prior to that were tip-ins in front of the net. I believe Kyle Connor had one nice snipe goal, but from what you expect from the Winnipeg Jets, I'm actually shocked. I expected Nick Ehlers to have 3 or 4 goals in the series. I expected Kyle Connor to be all over the place on the power play. Even though Mark Scheifele was out, I expected Blake Wheeler to be a lot better. And honestly, I just didn't see it from the Jets. Mad respect to the Winnipeg Jets. They're usually a really good team. I usually like watching them in the playoffs, but this has to be so disheartening for their fans. So shout out to Winnipeg fans. I wish it was a better series on your guys' behalf, but obviously I'm happy to see my team win. The Montreal Canadiens are advancing to the Stanley Cup semifinals. Hopefully they're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Maybe I'm the only Habs fan saying that, but hopefully they are. Could be, oh, excuse me, I'm coughing on my words. Could be the Vegas Golden Knights, but we will see. Either way, guys, I'm super proud of this team. Whatever happens in the Stanley Cup semifinals, if they got swept, whatever happens, I'm super proud of this performance. They are the kings of the North. Out of all the Canadian teams, the first and probably the only time ever you're going to see an all-Canadian division where all the Canadian teams are in the division. And who wins that division? The Montreal Canadiens, the gold standard of Canadian hockey, the last team to win a Stanley Cup, the heart and soul of Canada when it comes to hockey, not the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs let this country down every year. They let their fans down every year. This team with young players, a nice mix of vets, Carey Price in the back with that beautiful smile, Jesperi Kotkaniemi with his beautiful smile, Tyler Toffoli with his ugly mug. How can you not love this team? This is the gold standard of Canadian hockey. Let's see them go all the way, and hopefully they win a Stanley Cup, or at least make it to the finals. But either way, I'm so proud of this team. What a season, boys. Go Habs, go. Go Habs, go. Stay tuned for more videos, guys. I know I'm getting a bit rusty at this because I have 2 kids. I work 2 jobs. I'm constantly got my hands full, but it's playoff hockey. I have to make more time for Habs videos, so I'm going to be on the ball with this. Let's go Vegas Golden Knights or Colorado Avalanche versus the Montreal Canadiens in the next series. Can't wait to cover it, and can't wait to see the Habs win and Carey Price dominate, baby. My prediction for that series, no matter who it is, I think it's going to go 7 games, whether it's Vegas or whether it's Colorado. I think those teams are good enough where if the Habs are going to beat them, they're going to have to do it in 7. They're not going to come out and do what they did to Winnipeg against either one of these teams. These American teams, these bigger teams are very strong, very well built, and I honestly think the Montreal Canadiens can get the job done, though. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I know you're all having a great day, especially Habs fans. Shout out to Jets fans. My heart goes out to you. This is S2H, over and out. Stanley Cup semifinals. The Habs are the king of the North, and I'm probably the happiest Habs fan on earth right now. Just like the rest of you guys. We all think that. Go Habs, go, baby. Woo!